Uh-oh.
Okay, we'll start with this. The ongoing feud between Gervonta Davis and Terrence Crawford. Gervonta, who said he beat Errol, and Errol is still bigger than this fool, and Errol's been chilling. His next fight is in a stadium, also fighting someone in his weight class.
I don't think he's had much of a choice. Since the life-altering beating that Terrence Crawford put on him, he ain't got no choice but to chill out.
This guy Asford has got to fight a guy 3 weight classes above him to try and make decent money.
Well, he did make more than decent money beating the hell out of Errol. Do you want to acknowledge that now or later?
And I'm pretty sure that he made more fighting Madrimov than you did fighting Frank Martin.
Pretty sure.
Terrence responded to Gervonta by saying, look, I've got bigger fish to fry. Grow some balls and fight Shakur Stevenson or Keyshawn Davis and stop being scared. That's probably why you ran your girl over and beat her ass, because you don't got no nuts, and she knows it.
Probably wears her dresses too.
Zesty Gervonta always has a lot to say about people online, a lot to say about Crawford, a lot to say about Turkey, but in the end, we all know where the money is, the real money, and it's not fighting Lamont Roach.
The subject of what these fighters are earning per fight should be of no relevance to me and you, because we ain't getting any of that money.
But the idea that Gervonta Davis is out-earning everyone else by fighting the likes of Frank Martin and guys like Lamont Roach, yeah, that's a myth. Veteran boxing scribe Mike Coppinger stated, outside of the Ryan Garcia fight, Terrence Crawford has earned multiple times more than Gervonta Davis for his fights with Madrimov and Spence compared to Tank's bouts with Frank Martin, Hector Luis Garcia, and the upcoming bout with Lamont Roach. To which a Twitter user that goes by the name J Cash responded, how do you know this? Mike said, I know the actual purses because I'm a reporter, and I promise you, it's not close. Crawford made close to $25 million for Spence. Tank isn't earning anywhere near that. Garcia was the exception. Guy who goes by the name TJ Barry stated, being a reporter, you also know that there is pay-per-view in addition to the purse. And what's the point of using Bud's best fight and not Tank's best fights? Comparing apples to oranges. You can say Spence was the outlier and Madrimov is because of Turkey, to which Mike responded, yeah, Tank isn't hitting the upside on any of these fights outside of Ryan, basically saying that all Gervonta's getting is his guarantee because there is no upside.
And what's his guarantee?
I don't imagine it's more than 2 or 3, maybe 4.
But that's it.
To which longtime Mayweather towel boy Leonard Ellerbe stated, man, you really need to shut the hell up because you're speaking on something you know nothing about. How the hell would you know what any of these events generate? Let me guess. You have the actual reports? You sound beyond stupid. You're jumping in on some shit between 2 fighters, not you.
He doesn't need your permission to have an opinion.
Mike responded by saying, good to see you're back in the mix with Tank. Maybe a reunion with Floyd is next? Leonard responded by saying, I never left any mix. Why are you inserting yourself in 2 fighters' money business anyways? That's between them. Then you say some dumb shit like, besides the 9-figure fight, you were the A-side in blah blah blah. You've been a Tank hater. It's kinda obvious, Mike, but it's okay.
That's what they love to call you when you cite the inconvenient truth. They love to call you a hater for just calling a spade a spade.
The idea that Gervonta Davis, by fighting the fighters that he's been fighting, is out-earning everyone, Terrence Crawford included, yeah, that's bullshit.
I bet you that Terrence made more in his last fight than Gervonta made in his.
That's what Mike Coppinger is saying. Mike Coppinger, who said, I'm a fan of Tank's great talent. Not a fan of watching him in total mismatches. Betting lines don't lie. I just want to see him in more big fights. You should want to see that too, I would think.
That's never been Leonard Ellerbe's aim.
His aim was, and still is, to fool people into thinking that Gervonta Davis is better than what he is, and that who he's fighting is worth your hard-earned dollars, your money. That's why you should have to pay so much more to see Gervonta versus a guy who just fought on YouTube instead of a Riyadh Season show, a Turki Alalshikh show that actually costs less. Leonard responded to Mike by saying, "You can't make guys fight unless they want to. What happened to your guy Loma? Stop the BS, Mike." Is he talking about the Loma that Gervonta Davis avoided for 6 or 7 years and waits good up until he starts thinking about retiring before making a fight? That Loma?
These people are pathetic.
Leonard is pathetic. I can remember him saying on so many occasions, "Dead zone."
Nobody watches the zone.
Fast forward, Showtime has left the sport of boxing, your buddies. DAZN is now bigger than it was when they first debuted in America, and they're getting hefty cash injections from Saudi. But how is Mayweather Promotions?
Leonard wouldn't know. He stepped down as CEO.
Doesn't even work there anymore. Leonard continued, "Tank is eating what he's killing because he's consistently putting asses in the seats everywhere, and fans are tuning in, and he's actually generating 8-figure revenue every time out. I mean, every time out. Those are irrefutable facts. Bud is killing it too. He's being paid 8 figures every time out."
That doesn't disprove what Mike Coppinger said, that there is no upside to Gervonta Davis's pay-per-views.
There isn't. Outside of the Ryan Garcia fight, all those other fights likely barely broke even. One he had with Frank last year, and the one he's about to have with Lamont Roach. There is no back-end money. There is no upside. All Gervonta's getting is his guarantee, and that's it.
That's all.
So the idea that a butterball who's scratching and sniffing and lying about what he's earning,
It's like lying on your dick.
lying on your bank account, you don't need to be Telly Savalas to figure out that fights like the Lamont Roach fight don't move the needle. If you're a boxing fan, you will already know that.
He just pretends he's making all this money in America, so he's not pressured to go to Saudi.
The reason he doesn't want to go to Saudi is because if you go over there, they'll pay you. They'll pay you good. But what they're not going to do is match you soft.
So he doesn't want to go, but he shades everybody that does.
The poster child for the American hype job. Thought about what Gervonta Davis said 3 days ago. They want to act like this guy being Turkey, is good for boxing when he's not good at shit. If so, why is he not building the people where he's from?
They actually are doing that. They opened up a gym over there, and I think it's helmed by veteran trainer Joe Gallagher.
Saw a recent post from Ring Magazine that stated, "The Ring can exclusively reveal that Turki Alalshikh is currently in advanced negotiations to finalize deals for upcoming fights with Canelo Alvarez, Anthony Joshua, Terence Crawford, Naoya Inoue, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez, Jai Opataya, Chris Eubank Jr., Connor Benn, Isaac Cruz, William Zepeda, Martin Bacoli, Anthony Yard, Adam Azim." These boxers will be fighting on the world's first Ring Magazine cards this year, which will be named after the upcoming new game Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves, as a collaboration between SNK and Ring Magazine. Here you see Turkey expanding boxing's horizons into the gaming world, the world of gamers, while simultaneously bringing all these boxers from all around the world under all these different banners together for what are going to be Ring Magazine shows. Ring Magazine can be viewed in that light as a promotional outfit of sorts that perhaps isn't signing fighters yet.
That could change.
But they are putting on their own shows with their own money and promoting them using fighters that are from other promotional outfits. And after all the years of complaining from the fans, isn't this what we wanted? No borders, no boundaries, only the best fighters fighting the best fighters in the best fights.
How is that not a good thing?
And this is who Gervonta Davis is complaining about, competing with in a manner of sorts, because you don't want to be a part of this. You don't want to go over there. You want to try to sell your own shows here in America. What do you expect to buy them?
How are you supposed to compete with this?
Now, part of what caught my attention about Ring Magazine's recent revelation is one of the names they listed, one of them. Some of these guys you expected they would be doing something with Turkey in the not-so-distant future, but I didn't expect to see Teofimo's name there. Not at a time when he's enthralled with this battle against Top Rank and rejecting all the fights they're offering him, likely waiting out his existing deal to expire so he can go somewhere else, and now we know where.
Wants to go with Turkey.
Perhaps the smartest move he can make, if he can make it. But if Ring Magazine is announcing it, and Ring Magazine is owned by Turkey,
then it's legit.
And so I guess the next time we see Teofimo, we can expect to see him fighting under the Ring Magazine banner. Against who is the question. Another name.
Isaac Cruz.
Isaac Cruz is set to box Angel Fierro on the undercard of the Benavidez versus Morrell fight, a PBC on Amazon show. But I guess after that, he's going to be boxing on a Ring Magazine show. Against who?
Maybe against Teofimo. Isaac's next fight is at 140. He's still there.
Teofimo's still at 140. He hasn't dropped his WBO title yet. Just a suggestion, the name of Anthony Yarde caught my attention as well. Anthony Yarde, who recently parted ways with his longtime promoter, Queensbury Promotions, last boxed on a Boxer show, but didn't make a commitment to Boxer. To my knowledge, he didn't sign a deal with them per se, he just boxed on one of their shows. Now, what this seems to indicate is that his very next fight could be on a Ring Magazine show. Against who?
Well, they were talking about putting him in there with Lyndon Arthur for a third time, but I don't know. Maybe he'll box the winner of Buatsi versus Smith.
It's a good fight. Anything is possible. They also mentioned Martin Bacoli, who is currently en route to an F.A. Ajagba fight that doubles as an IBF final eliminator. I guess we can expect to see that fight happen on one of these Ring Magazine shows, but don't forget what they said. You may need to be subscribed to Ring Magazine in order to take them in. So there are some strings attached.
We'll see.
It's giving Ring Magazine a rebrand and a lot more juice than what they had before, because Ring Magazine may have been the Bible of boxing, but over time print became a dying medium, and they have to evolve in order to survive with the recent purchase of Turki Alalshikh.
It's more than just a magazine now.
This past weekend, they actually held their own awards ceremony for the first time. They're going to be doing their own cards, their own shows moving forward, and I wouldn't be at all surprised to see in the future some fighters actually signing to a Ring Magazine. I wouldn't rule it out. And that's what Turkey's doing for boxing, removing the borders, the bureaucracy, the red tape that holds up fights. That's not a problem anymore.
And this is what Gervonta Davis stands against. You're either part of the solution or you're part of the problem, and it's clear he's part of the problem. Hell, he is the problem.
So just go ahead and retire.
At the end of the day, like, why is it that you pushed and wanted this fight?
You know, to be honest, the reason why I took this fight, and I was, I already had it planned that I was going to take it, but because Morrell's been talking a lot. He's been saying that I'm scared of him, this and that, and I think this is just a way of me proving that it doesn't matter who it is. I'm going to get him in the ring sooner or later, and I told people that, and now we're here, February 1st. It's going to be a big fight. I'm very excited, and I'm excited I add that WBA title to my collection of belts.
Now, I don't expect David Benavidez to be completely upfront as to why all of a sudden he's receptive to fighting David Morrell, where before he rejected him and said he was more interested in Jaime Munguia or Edgar Berlanga. Why all of a sudden is he receptive to this fight? And it's because he's run out of options. You need somebody good enough that you can fight them in the main event and sell it for $80. And that can't be a Jesse Hart or someone like that. Jesse Hart, who was rumored to be in the running for David's next fight
before they finally landed on David Morrell. Though even David Morrell in a main event.
$80 is steep. In this economy, it's a lot. Especially when you're getting a more high-quality show later on that same month for far less. 3 times less. It all ties together, because no matter what two entities in the world of boxing are doing a show, they're still both competing for the same eyes, the same buys. So when the PBC on Amazon is doing a show at a price point like that one, with piracy being what it is, and there being cheaper and better alternatives,
It's gonna be rough seas.
and a lot of pressure, because what borders may have separated fighters and kept them apart are being removed. piece by piece.
You beat David Morrell. There's absolutely no reason, no excuse that you can't go in there and fight the winner of Better Be versus Bivol. Isaac Cruz.
He's a PBC guy, the same as you. Not only has he already boxed on a Riyadh season show, according to recent reports, he's going to be boxing on a Ring Magazine card, Carlos Adames, another PBC fighter.
Boxing on a Riyadh season show next month. So if you don't, what's your excuse?
Can't be sides of the street, not anymore. A good number of fighters from your side of the street are branching out. So why don't you? You want undisputed, don't you? You want to prove you're the best? There's your chance. There's been some worry that Saudi Arabian influence over the sport of boxing will produce a monopoly where they have full hegemonical control, but so far so good. They're returning boxing to the people, and it's going back to being a sport.
Less prima donnas, more pugilists.
Some still choose to resist, but those individuals will be pushed out eventually. There's no place for a Gervonta Davis in this brave new world. There may not be a place for a David Benavidez either if he don't get with it.
This is how boxing evolves. This is how boxing survives in this digital era where cable giants
Giants of yesterday are just trying to keep their heads above water today. Streaming is all the rage. And this is a digital world. Adapt or die.
I'm not mad at it because what's to be mad at? All they're trying to do is make the best fights.
It's all part of an even bigger picture intended to draw tourism to the region using boxing as a small part of that. And if you want to draw people to a boxing match, it's gotta be good. You can't just inundate them with filler fights expecting them to take it, expecting them to pay you.
Doesn't work like that. Any business that is a business relies on the principle of supply and demand. And you can't keep supplying people fights that no one's demanding. Major changes were needed, and now major changes are happening.
Roll with it or get rolled over.
Bitch.
See, Gervonta Davis has taken a hardline stance against Turkey and all he's doing for the sport. Will David Benavidez take that same stance, or will he join the fray?
I don't trust him to do it, but maybe he'll surprise me.
And even if he doesn't, there's so much good news coming down the pipeline that if David doesn't want to be a part of it, neither does Gervonta, who the hell cares? When the axis of power has already shifted, and those who are in control
How the mighty have fallen. Long gone are the days of Al Heyman's mystique and his experiment, his PBC.
It's hard to imagine how they will be able to survive in this current landscape with their antiquated methods, aging, stable, and grossly overpriced pay-per-views.
Still keep hearing about that Spence versus Fundora fight. How many buys do you think that's gonna do?
And the long-awaited return of the Charlo brothers, except who was waiting for them? Telling you, I love what Turkey's doing and what he's got planned for the sport. I love it all, but it's gonna make some guys' jobs a lot harder.
I don't know how anybody's supposed to compete with him.
I don't know how the PBC's supposed to survive.